President Tinubu commiserates with Catholics and Christians over the death of Pope Francis.
Federal government to close gap in healthcare infrastructure across Nigeria.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu hosts Young Wings of Christian Association of Nigeria in State House.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall take a look at Ponzi schemes and risk-taking.
All right, a Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud that pays existing investors with funds collected from new investors. Ponzi scheme managers are often deceptive, betraying promises to invest clients' money and generate high returns with little or no risk. But sadly, the fraudsters do not invest the money.
Simply put, a Ponzi scheme is an investment scam that pays early investors with money taken from later investors to create an illusion of big profits.
So the sudden closure of corporate office and online transaction of crypto bridge exchange, Smart Treasures, widely known as CBEX, the digital asset platform, on Monday, grief and regret have enveloped investors.
Maybe I should ask, which of the Ponzi schemes have you taken part in?
I don't even know. I don't even do that. I haven't even heard
What
of
about the
CBEX.
popular MMM?
I never did.
Okay.
I've never.
All right. Great. Now, the disappearance by CBEX may cause some investors to commit suicide, having watched, in some cases, entire life savings, pensions, business money, and hope for a more secure financial future evaporate.
This latest Ponzi scheme, crashing, financial experts say, may have cost the victims an estimated 1.4 trillion naira. Now, such colossal sum will no doubt, of course, have dire consequences.
So true. Now, the CBEX swindle, now Nigeria's biggest Ponzi scam, when added to an estimated 1.7 trillion naira lost by Nigerians in sundry Ponzi schemes in 9 years.
And meanwhile, the House of Representatives has directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the FCC, and the Nigeria Police to intensify investigations towards apprehending and prosecuting the manager of the Ponzi cryptocurrency investment scheme known as CBEX.
Well, Claire, in addition to the EFCC, to the arrest, the EFCC says it would collaborate with the international criminal police and organizations to investigate the CBEX and assures investors of recouping their trapped funds.
No, one thing that worries me or is concerned is, reactive measures. I mean, we wait until the damage is done before we start looking for them. I mean, CBEX has been... Anyway, let's get on. Sadly, these fraudulent Ponzi schemes are said not to have registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, which highlights the growing risk posed by unregulated digital investment platforms. So it's on this note I welcome you again to Good Morning Nigeria this Tuesday. I am Claire Adilabu Abdurrazak. Thank you for joining us. And
it just dawned on me, Claire, that this is actually a serious matter for those who invested a lot of money. So probably not be smiling about this issue. So I don't know where to put myself in talking about it.
I honestly, I don't know what to say about it, but you can't catch me. You can never catch me doing any of those schemes. What sounds too good?
You don't want to double your money?
What sounds too good to be true? There's something really, really wrong with it. You must look at it again with the second eye. If it sounds too good to be true, please, take a walk.
All right. You just heard Claire. I'm Henry John. This is Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. This is Africa's largest TV network. And like you know, you can't beat the rich. In the course of the program, Chukwudi Okoli Obaja will join us for newspaper review. But for now, Let's have the morning news, and Tessie is here. But first, I want to find out, Tessie, have you participated in any Ponzi scheme ever?
No, I think, have you been caught? Have you been caught?
Oh dear, when you talking about...
She may not have been caught, but maybe she participated,
No,
and, you know, she
okay,
one of those...
I finished it. Caught hands down.
And like you said, you have to talk about it. Somebody out there would learn a lesson from it. Just try and talk about it. Very
That's
important.
the question. Will
Just
they?
try. Just try and talk about
We
it.
will try. We'll keep talking, Stacey. Thank you.
All right. Hello, Nigerians. Good morning, and here is the morning news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has joined the Catholic faithfuls and Christians worldwide in mourning the passing of Pope Francis, describing him as a humble servant of God, tireless champion of the poor, and guiding light for millions. President Tinubu notes his passing, coming just after the celebration of Christ's resurrection, is a sacred return to his Maker at a time of renewed hope for Christians. The President, on behalf of the government and the people of Nigeria, extends condolences to the Catholic Church, the global Catholic community, and the Christian faithful, praying God Almighty grant the beloved Pope eternal rest. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has returned to Nigeria from his private visits to France and United Kingdom. The presidential flight arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 9:50 Monday evening. Before departure on 2nd of April, the presidential advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ananuga, announced that the president proceeded on the break to appraise his administration's midterm performance and assess key milestones. He was also to use the retreat to review the progress of ongoing reforms and engage in strategic planning ahead of his administration's second anniversary. In emulation of Jesus Christ, Christians must always show love to their neighbors and avoid every inclination to judge others based on religion or region. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu said this while hosting the youth wing of Christian Association of Nigeria Yowikan to Easter brunch at the Villa. The federal government is stepping up efforts to close critical gaps in healthcare infrastructure across the country. This is as Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako, was on a working visit to the Federal Medical Center, Owo, where he inaugurated a series of newly completed projects aimed at boosting healthcare service delivery.
The space, the infrastructural possibilities that are there will be optimally utilized to deliver better care.
The National Assembly has extended the date for the resumption of plenary sessions from Tuesday, 29th April 2025 to Tuesday, 6th May 2025. A statement from the clerk of the National Assembly, Kamoru Ogunlana, explains that the extension is to allow distinguished senators and honorable members to participate in the Workers' Day ceremony. The extension will also enable members of the Senate and House of Representatives attend to other engagements in their constituencies. The Nigerian Correctional Service has dismissed two recent viral reports as false and misleading. In a statement by the service public relations officer, Abubakar Umar, the service says claims of a bomb explosion at the Maiduguri Custodial Center are entirely untrue. Authorities confirm the facility is calm, secure, and fully operational with no breach recorded. The service also denies allegations linking an inmate at the Enugu Custodial Center to the kidnap of a 12-year-old girl in Rivers State. Umar urges the public to disregard these reports, describing them as baseless attempts to mislead Nigerians and smear the image of the service. And those are the news highlights. Good morning, Nigeria continues with Claire and Nyere after this timeout. Good morning.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill, and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social-economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, 1 person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, 1 person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary health care center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
The future belongs to the dreamers, to the doers, to those who are not afraid of the side hustle. It's for those who are ready to turn their passion into something big. And to help keep you revitalized and inspired, Top Tea is with you every step of the way. You are made for more. Find your inspiration. Top Tea, big round bags of flavor.
Introducing the new Jig Sachet. Whitening your whites has never been more affordable. Now you can keep whites shining brighter and disinfect by killing 99.9% of germs on your floors and other surfaces. Just jig it with Jig Sachet.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
In today's fast-paced world, staying ahead demands peak performance from our bodies.
Like never before, our bodies need an optimum supply of essential nutrients, and Supermalt supports our daily nutritional needs.
Exactly. 1 Supermalt after breakfast daily keeps us at our best.
Supermalt is specially formulated for today's man and woman. It has 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and natural extracts for overall health and wellness. 1 Supermalt a day gives you energy and vitality, improves your mental performance, and supports your immunity.
For Epic 10X Challenge. My people, today now. Today, I will show you how the power of new Apic 10X gives your toilet a better cleaning than bleach.
Than bleach?
Yes, so
Impossible.
toilets have stains which bleach cannot clean effectively. But Apic is thicker and sticks better, which gives 10X better cleaning versus bleach and kills germs.
Oh, wow.
You can now say that Apic is better than bleach.
Our major currency unit is the Naira, while the minor unit is the Kobo. They are both in notes and coins. The Naira is more than just a medium of exchange. It bears the images of our heroes. So, stop abusing the Naira. It is a criminal offense to spray the Naira at events. Stop stepping on the Naira. It's not your enemy. Do not squeeze, ruffle, or write on the Naira. Handling the Naira with dirty or oily hands can deface the Naira. Love the Naira as you love yourself. Be a real Nigerian. Do not abuse the Naira.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
Tuesday night football. Valencia, Espanyol. Valencia versus Espanyol. Live on Sporty TV.
Brought to you by Sportybet. Play with champions.
Welcome back. It's still Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. And up next is newspaper review.
Right, welcome back and thank you for being there for us. Chukwudi Okodugbaja is right here with us for the newspaper review, and it's a pleasure to have you, Chukwudi.
How are you doing? Good to see you as well.
I could be better though.
Nyere.
Good to see you, Chukwudi.
You know why I like you? You're always here. Thank you.
You're always here too.
Thank
you. I like you too.
We are always here.
Yeah, Claire, you're also always here. Let's go.
All right, let's look at the papers quickly now. Let's begin with the leadership this morning. And the lead story here says 138 cardinals to elect new pope as Francis dies at 88. The riders, 18 Africans to participate in selection process. Ghanaian Tucson, 9 others among contenders. Tinubu, Trump, others more. All of that on page 4. Of course, beside that story, we have Ohaneze insists on restructuring. That's on page 27. Dangote spends 31 billion naira on food programs. Above the lead story, we have this one. Benue is under siege. Alia cries out. That's the governor there, and that's on page 23. You want to find out what's going on. Above that, after 40 years, Mina Airport commences commercial flights. Above the masthead, National Assembly extends holiday amid security concerns. And next to that, Plateau killings. Church leaders demand justice. And the picture story is that of Pope Francis, who passed on yesterday, born 1936 and passed on yesterday, 2025. All right, let's look away from the leadership now. Let's see what the Daily Times is offering this morning. The Daily Times leads with security concerns, and the story is bandits impose 60 million naira on 12 Zamfara communities. That's on page 2. Above the masthead, of course, the story of Pope Francis is also right here and captioned this way. Atiku, Abbas, Lawan, Kalu pay tribute as Pope Francis dies at 88. Khan leads protest in Jos over herdsmen killing of 150 villagers. Details on page 2. And looking away from that, we have my comment on North. Your response is lazy. Baba Ahmed slams on Anuga. Nigerian Correctional Service denies bomb explosion in Maiduguri prison. Tension mounts in Delta over alleged murder of Governor Oborobori's aide. And that's on page 10. In the red strip, after 19-day European trip, Tinubu returns to Nigeria. All right, that's about it on the front page of the Daily Times this morning. Claire.
All right, I don't have much to take from the Daily Trust except the headline news. It says Kano, Katsina, Jigawa get 2-hour power supply daily. Small businesses suffer losses, and Kaduna Electric Development Company, KEDO, blames outage on system upgrade. The details of that you can find on pages 3 and 4. And then there's a picture story there of Christians on Easter Monday in Jos, Plateau State, protesting over the recent killings in Bokus and Basa LGAs. And other stories Yuri had taken from the other papers. So I think, Chukwudi, if you...
Yes, Claire, let us first of all pay tribute to Pope Francis. I had a short Facebook write-up yesterday where I recalled the unbelievable limit he tended to have pushed humility to. I recall a particular occasion when he traveled to, what was the South American country, so, where he was washing the feet of people you would call underprivileged and actually kissing their feet. I mean, it was practically unimaginable, but it happened. We cannot begin to describe to the Catholic Church the weightiness of any of the popes they've had. But I dare say, from a personal point of view, that Pope Francis has stood out to me, you know, Pope John Paul too, that time, you know. Let's leave the holy seas so we don't defile them, in quotes, okay?
Which of the denominations are you?
Does it matter, really?
No, I'm just asking, just curious.
I'm not going to tell you, but I'm not a Catholic. But when I see a Muslim do something that should be emulated,
or maybe you're not,
tell the world about it.
Maybe you are faithless.
Do I sound like a heathen? Claire, you are derailing this talk. Yes. Then I noted too that apart from Pope Francis, the Catholic Church has always put out men and women who have stood out. I recalled that Calcutta nun, Mother Teresa, who said giving is best when it comes from a needy circumstance. Imagine, can you beat that?
Yes, the question now is,
yes,
what happens when a pope dies? 137 cardinals to choose new pontiff, and from the list I saw, you know, peddled, you know, on the social media, there's an African, a Ghanaian, and I think I just remarked, I said, well, maybe that's just for the numbers. Yes.
I heard something yesterday that maybe it's time to make the papacy more of an European giving more European texture.
Yeah. Wow. I think you get my
drift.
Wow. You're not saying anything.
Wait till we do.
Well, for me, I just think irrespective of where the person is from, what's important is that the Christian faith, you know, sees progress. There's, I mean, whatever he stands for, I think that will move the body of Christ forward. That's what I think. It's not about where the person is from. You know, it doesn't have to be African.
You're saying, as I would like to put it, let us see more spirituality
Exactly.
happen from all these rather than religious showmanship, which tends to have taken over the streets these days, you know. May his soul rest in perfect
I
peace.
do have a contrary view, but again, we are all entitled to
our
opinions about how it's done. But
Yes.
again, let the cardinals, let the 137 cardinals, irrespective of race and tribe, choose the pontiff.
You would talk like a journalist, so let's permit you to do that. Otherwise, the rituals of the Catholic Church, I'm not really a fan of that side of it. The humility they show,
No. It's quite
not
sacred.
losing their members to Pentecostal zealots easily and all that. I praise them for it. I don't know how they achieve it.
It still resonates with me. And by the way, I attended, missionary school.
Oh dear.
So the rituals you talk about.
Yes, I should watch my lips since you're here, really, my dear.
Anyway, quickly, we have 60 seconds to
Okay.
go. Kanu Katsina Jigawa get 2 hour power supply daily. I mean, should this come as a surprise?
2 hour what?
2 hour power supply daily. Small businesses are closing in those areas.
And that would mean that maybe those on band C or D may not even get power at all.
You know, what doesn't really matter to me from my analysis as a journalist is the instances of failure we record now. What I'm interested in is why would we, since 1999 up until now, still be dancing between 3,400 megawatts and 6,000 megawatts and all that? Are we jinxed? If there is sufficient production of power and good transmission of it, because distribution is a big problem in Nigeria, I think all these things will become a...
Well, Kedo says is
that will be the Kaduna.
Yes.
Okay.
Electricity Development Company, whatever.
Yes.
It says it's due to system upgrade. If it's due to system upgrade, well, it means this is just
temporary.
Temporary, yes. Just for a short period of time, and then probably after that, when all the system upgrade is complete, maybe the hours of power supply will probably. They'll be compensated.
Yes, but I want to suggest that system upgrades in our climb do not translate into things that fly in the face of modern technology. The other people upgrade theirs, yet the light does not blink, you know? Claire, let's go to another issue, please. Sorry to my dear brothers and sisters in the states you mentioned.
All right. Well, maybe the security concern.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yes.
Security concern.
Benue under siege.
Yeah.
Plateau killing. Khan is demanding justice.
Yeah.
Then bandits impose 60 million naira levies on 12 Zamfara communities. Let me start from the bottom.
You have 60 seconds.
We don't get to hear kinetic and non-kinetic anymore. So the army, they are really facing squarely the job before them. But I want to say that it is sad that we should at this stage still be talking about a part of Nigeria where bandits still hold sway in particular territories. The reasons are not too far-fetched. You need more boots on the ground. That means you need more recruitment into the police force, the army, the navy, and the rest of it.
All right.
Let us work towards that, please.
Many thanks, Chukwudi.
Very good point to say thank you to you.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow, as always.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good day. All right, you're watching Good Morning Nigeria. Please don't go away. Our topic today will be interesting and, of course, beneficial to you. Let me remind you, Ponzi schemes. Have you fallen? Have you been a victim? If so, if not, please stay with us.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we swear in colors, we stand down in deeper, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah.
The Real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
We're live in the open market for Apic 10X Challenge. My people, today I will show you how the power of new Apic 10X gives your toilet a better cleaning than bleach.
Than bleach?
Yes, so. Impossible. Toilets have stains which bleach cannot clean effectively. But Apic is thicker and sticks better, which gives 10X better cleaning versus bleach and kills germs.
Oh, wow.
You can now see that Apic is better than bleach.
Have you heard the news? The federal government of Nigeria, through its direct benefit transfer program, has started the disbursement of 75,000 naira per household in 3 installments of 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 naira. Each recipient must have a validated national identification number, NIN, to receive the payment on behalf of their household members. To benefit, your household must be in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households in Nigeria. The federal government's direct benefit transfer program is helping to reduce the effect of suffering while promoting financial and economic inclusion for the poor and vulnerable population in Nigeria.
Ìjọba fún wa ní 75,000. NIN ni mí àti káàdì ìlàsílẹ̀ ọgbà. Nígbà tí mo sì gbà, mo ń fi ṣe nǹkan tó dáa, mo ra oògùn nínú rẹ̀. Mo ra oúnjẹ tí màá jẹ nínú rẹ̀. Mo sì wọkọ̀ mi náà ń bẹ. A sì fi yòókù ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ajé pé káàtó máa rí dé bá. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ìjọba wa òkè.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in collaboration with the National Social Investment Programs Agency, National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, and the National Cash Transfer Office.
The Nigeria Coat of Arms is the official seal that represents the authority of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, hung on the wall behind the seat of the principal officer of the government, supported by the portrait of the serving President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It has 7 features. The black shield stands for Good Earth of Nigeria. The silver wavy band stands for the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. The 2 white horses stands for dignity. The yellow flora is a common wildflower throughout Nigeria. The red eagle stands for strength. The wreath is in our national colors of green, white, green. The motto, unity and faith, peace and progress, is written on a beautiful yellow ribbon, and it's a maxim for all Nigerians. Be a real Nigerian.
Introducing the new Jig Sachet. Whitening your whites has never been more affordable. Now you can keep whites shining brighter and disinfect by killing 99.9% of germs on your floors and other surfaces. Just jig it with Jig Sachet.
The counsel of our fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
It's another season
That
of
is nothing
Cowbell
already.
Media.
All right, so your 60 seconds of fame starts now. How many lines of symmetry has a rectangle? 2. Correct. Simplify 6p cubed multiplied by p squared divided by 3p4. 2p.
Correct. Don't miss a single moment of the action in the Cowbellpedia Mega Minds 2025 edition.
Catch me, your quiz master, Ebuka.
And I'm your host, Linda.
Tune in to Cowbellpedia Mega Minds.
Nigeria is perched on the treasure trove of solid minerals. Gold, coal, tantalum, tin, but none is more critical to our future or the world's future like lithium.
Let's talk about illegal mining operations. What is our strategy?
Welcome to Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis, a TV series dedicated to aging and older persons in Nigeria. Be part of this series and discover the transformative programs crafted to give a new lease of life to our senior citizens, courtesy of the National Senior Citizen Center.
The National Senior Citizen Center
is the oasis for the senior citizens.
For thought-provoking discussions on aging, geriatric social care, and issues that matter most to our senior citizens.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Tune in to Silver Oasis on the network service of the NTA every Saturday at 10:05 p.m. Silver Oasis, improving the quality of lives of senior citizens.
Tuesday night football. Valencia, Espanyol. Valencia versus Espanyol. Live on Sporty TV.
Brought to you by Sportybet. Play with champions.
All right, good to have you back. You're still watching Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the NTA. And just before we get into our conversation, which is on Ponzi schemes, very interesting, by the way. Let's take a look at this background report put together by our correspondent, Ibrahim Bello Gunda.
A Ponzi scheme is a type of investment scam where returns are paid to existing investors from funds contributed by new investors rather than from profit. Nigerians have fallen victims to a series of Ponzi schemes that over the years promised quick riches through high return but ended in devastating losses. They attract unsuspected persons with the allure of high returns with little risk, and in an attempt to gain quick cash, end up losing everything. Despite repeated warnings from financial regulators and government agencies, Ponzi schemes continue to evolve, rebranding and leveraging social media to gain trust and spread rapidly. Many victims, however, ignore red flags and regulatory advice from MMM, Loom, Ultimate Cycler, and Twinkers, most of which abruptly closed, leaving millions of investors stranded and confused. Recently, the collapse of CBEX platform has once again brought the activities of Ponzi schemes to satellite of relevant authorities. Early this year, President Tinubu signed into law Investment and Security Act 2025, which strengthened the Security and Exchange Commission's enforcement power to criminalize Ponzi schemes. What is the implication of the new law? What happens to people recently swindled by CBEX Ponzi scheme? This will form part of discussion on the program, as our guests are seated in the studio, ready for the conversation.
Absolutely, Gunda, thank you. And our guests are all here, ready for this important conversation. But let me quickly remind you that you can also be part of our conversation by sending in your comments, your suggestions. And shortly, already the lines are there, 0816. It's quite visible. I can't read it from here. But the lines are there for you to join our conversation. So let me quickly start the introductions with Professor Uche Uwaleke. He's a professor of capital market and director, Institute of Capital Market Studies at the Nasarawa State University. Prof, I'd like to thank you, and should I also say my lecturer. Thank you for
Thank
good
you
to
so
have
much.
you with us.
Thank you so much, Claire.
Yes.
And good morning, Nigeria.
And we're also fortunate to have with us this morning Dr. Momotimi Agama, who's the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Dr. Agama, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
The pleasure is mine, and thank you for having me.
All right, also joining us for the conversation from our Lagos studio is Shaibu Idris. He is the Managing Director and CEO of Timeline Consults Limited. Many thanks for joining us, sir. Timeline Consults Limited.
Good morning and thanks for having me. Good morning, fellow discussants.
All right, gentlemen, thank you once again. We are back here to discuss in Ponzi schemes, and I'm just wondering, how Nigerians unknowingly fall victims. And I'd like to start if anyone is open to sharing personal experiences, or of someone who has been a victim. I'd really like to hear, what the experiences are, and what signs you discovered. Let me probably start with guest in Lagos. All right, let me come back here. When we, I think we're trying to adjust the quality of our visuals from Lagos. So let me just start from the studio here. The Prof and Doc, any personal experience or someone why the unknowingly fall victim, what signs there are? I don't know. Let me start with Prof. Now we're passing the buck.
You are the lecturer. We'll start with you.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine. That's fine. Only, I think only just a few days ago, one of the victims of the recent one, the CBEX, yes, one of the victims actually shared, some materials with me. According to her, I was on Arise TV, in connection with this. So she said after watching me on Arise TV, she felt, she needed to share her experiences with somebody. So she forwarded a number of things to me. So she said that, this particular, company set up a branch here in Abuja and organized, kind of seminar, for them. And they were all there. And the company told them that they were doing legitimate business, that they already have certifications from the Corporate Affairs Commission, and they also have this, documents from the EFCC. Okay, so they got the impression that the company
was legit.
Yes.
What kind of business did they say they were into?
Yes, of course, the business of doubling your money. Investment. Okay, and she also said that they even brought evidence of people who had, dropped money, and then because we were promising, I think 30%, return or 40% return. Yes. So they said she said they brought evidence of people who did that, But she also said that they kept asking this question. Some people say that most people that indulge in this are not, literate, they're not financially literate, but that's not true, because this particular person is well educated. And she also said that she kept asking the question, and some other people that came with her kept asking the question, is this business registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission? Because most people know that the Securities and Exchange Commission is the agency of government that is responsible for protecting investors. And the response was that they had applied, and something would soon be out, So on the basis of that, she invested.
How much?
Yes, I know she didn't tell me how much she invested, but she also told me that a number of if you like, well-educated people, top civil servants, okay, we're also in that yes. And
did she tell you what they were investing in to be able to double the money? Were they selling products or
no? Those are the issues.
Did they say? My question is, if someone says if you bring 10 naira, I'll make it 40 naira in 30 days. Did it tell them what they were doing with the 10 naira that will make it, produce 40 naira in 30 days?
No, of course they'll come and tell you they are, whatever they're doing is crypto enabled. That if you dropped money with them, okay, they would use AI to trade for you, to invest in digital asset, invest in cryptocurrencies. Okay, so the impression being created is that these people are actually doing business, with the money, that they will invest the money in cryptocurrency. Of course, the forex investment is common. So when somebody tells you that he will buy crypto for you, cryptocurrency, when it appreciates, okay, he returns money to you, of course. Okay, so that's what actually lured them.
Prof, what did she say made her feel that this is legitimate? Yes. What are those points?
The pointers. As I said, those were deceptive. They brought CAC certificate. Okay. They also brought this COM certificate from the EFCC. And said yes. The EFCC is aware of the stance of the company, but as I said, and they also brought pictures of, if you like, CSR activities they have been involved in. Okay, this particular company would go to schools and share, books, would also go to hospitals and do things. So they appeared as a responsible corporate, citizen. Okay, so and of course, when you're a friend of yours that you also trust is telling you, come, let's do this. That's and the thing, as I said earlier, because somehow they have been managing to get away with some of this, and that's because of the fact that they were leveraging social media. Okay, I'm sure you didn't hear about them until the thing broke. Many people didn't know about them until it broke.
I was exactly.
Exactly.
I've never heard
And that's
of
because
CBEX.
they were just using social media, WhatsApp, Instagram to get people. All right.
So people never converged in the venue.
No,
where
they
they were
did.
educated?
No, they did.
They did.
Yes, as I said, they were holding seminars, they were holding
Okay.
workshops, and they were also using influencers, celebrities, to also further promote
the business,
whatever they are doing.
All right.
Dr. Gama.
Well, whether or not you have someone or someone who has fallen prey to any of these Ponzi schemes, you should have an idea how it runs.
Sure, I do.
Somehow. So share with us.
Sure, I do. It's very interesting. I long ago had knowledge about Ponzi schemes, and that's right from the university. In 1989, when I was in the university in Port Harcourt, right, you had the Umana experience. And I had a sister-in-law who had invested in it. And there at the university, even as an undergraduate, we're questioning the rationale. Because, critically, for you to have an ROI of 100%, of 60%, whoever it is that's promoting it must have at least minimum 100%. Because the person must have an overhead and must make profit. And there's nobody, no businessman that will love you more than himself, right? So much to it is that the person must at least make 2 times or 3 times what he's expecting to pay you. And that was almost impossible because on the premise of rationality, that couldn't have happened. So I got in contact with my sister-in-law who told me about it then, and I said, no, this is not possible. At the university, we debated it, we thought about it through, all the kind of the theories that could exist, and we didn't find anything to support it. And so, I told my sister-in-law to get out of it because she would soon get burnt. Fortunately, she listened, but others that didn't listen got burnt. That was the story, And subsequently, of course, you have others that have come to be. Then as a regulator, we have met a lot of them, and we have clamped down on them.
Please, can you now clarify? Let's try to do a concept clarification if possible.
Yes.
Let's break it down pieces now.
Yes.
What exactly is a Ponzi scheme?
Great. It's very simple. Ponzi scheme actually started, in the 20th century from a guy called Charles Ponzi. Charles Ponzi is an Italian who migrated to the US, and he promised his investors that he was going to give them 50% of the investment, and people went. People fell for it. And as soon as people fell for it, it became popular until it got crashed. Because the truth about it is that what happens in Ponzi scheme is the people are promised much more than they can deliver. And the simple trick is to rob Peter to pay Paul. So they use your money, and they collect money from you, and ask you to go get other investors. Then they use the other person's money added to your money to pay you, to give you a deceptive feeling that they are doing something to make you make money. And by the time they do that over time, it gets to a point where they cannot continue to do that. And they have amassed enough for themselves to be able to run away. And that's how it is. There is nothing supporting it. There's just nothing supporting it. And so this tendency, as it grows, right, out of, what I call choices that we make as individuals in business, or choices that we make as individuals, wanting to make money, we go into this. As far as I'm concerned, these people are actually not investors, because that is not an investment in the first instance. So you find out that people continue to get gullible, right, out of one desperation, the desire to make more money, and desire to live bigger than necessary or bigger than they should ordinarily.
So what you're saying is that there are no credible Ponzi schemes? As in, when I say credible, I mean in the past. Legitimate yes. Ponzi schemes.
They can be Ponzi and it's illegitimate.
Because the Ponzi,
right? the Ponzi makes it, illegitimate.
Okay, but is there a way you can do the Ponzi thing and be lucky?
No. So when you say be lucky, when you say you're lucky, because the major challenge why people get into it, especially Nigerians, is this self-denial to say, okay, let me go in first and get my money. Once I'm a first comer, the tendency is that I'll make my money before others come in and the thing will fail. Most people that get into it know that it will fail.
Let me ask you, is there a sense in which even corporate brands, that promote or do some kind of bonanzas and ask you to, patronize a particular product, and then, if you're lucky, you get something, and you keep buying and buying and buying and drinking, and you never get that. Is there a sense in which that also is a Ponzi?
There is a deception in it, and I know what you're talking about. You're talking about multi-level marketing. That's the word that it's called, right? So the only difference between multi-level marketing and the Ponzi scheme is that there are products that you can see. And of course, if you have the capacity to do the marketing, you probably will make some money. But oftentimes, you probably do not have that capacity because it speaks to networking. The number of people you know, the number of people you can convince, the number of people that will understand and appreciate what you are doing, for them to be able to come in, for you to be able to sell and make more money. That's different from Ponzi, right? It has its own, do's and don'ts, but it's different from Ponzi. Ponzi, practically, does not even have anything to show. It gives just an imagination. It's an imagery of profit or dividend as a result of, some cooked up stories.
And Professor Uwaleke, in Ponzi scheme, investment strategy is nil, isn't it?
Yes, you just heard from him that is not an investment. Yes, Ponzi scheme is, call it gambling, if you like. When you are doing something and there is no fundamental, okay. Another word for Ponzi scheme is pyramid scheme. Pyramid scheme, where just as he explained, you find somebody who is promoting it. All that he does is he gets money from people to pay the those that are already there. So there is nothing supporting it, and that is why ultimately it is something that will collapse. All right. Okay. I think the question she asked, you have an economy where, for example, the average rate of return on investment, okay, is say maybe 10%, or let us even say 15%, and that 50% is per annum for 1 year, and then you now have this business that tells you you will get 40%, 50%, or 30% in a month, and then you fall for it. Okay, so that alone, when somebody is telling you you can get 30% in a month, where in an economy you can get, ordinarily 15% in a year, okay, that should put you, on inquiry. Even globally speaking, because these people say they are going to invest your money, in, if you like, instruments that are traded, offshore. Okay, globally, return on investment is not that high. And that's even why even those in developed economies, they come to, we call them frontier, they come here to even invest because our returns are higher. So when somebody is telling you you're going to get 30% in a month, that should raise your antenna.
You see, talking about raising the antenna,
yes,
I can assure you, Professor Uwaleke, that if another Ponzi scheme comes up tomorrow,
yes,
Nigerians will still partake in it.
Yes.
So my question is, I mean, there've been big ones that have, crumbled, and we've seen people lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Are there psychological or social factors that make people susceptible to these Ponzi schemes?
Yes. First,
or spiritual factors?
Well, social. Yes, you are right. Socioeconomic. Okay. Recall that in 2016, one of the big ones, you say big ones, one of the big ones is MMM. Everybody knew about MMM, right? MMM happened in 2016. The Nigerian economy then was in a recession. Okay, about 2020 again, when we're in another recession, the COVID-19, this one also reared its head, MBA Forex. Okay, and today we know the state of the economy. Okay, high inflation and so on. So these people take advantage of the economic situation. So yes, economic factors, yes. Okay. Greed is also, I would also attribute that also greed. He has said it, you want to live above, your means. Okay, so greed is one thing. Yes, I agree, economics, the factor, another. But to some extent, I would say lack of investor education. I'm saying to some extent, lack of investor education, all right? But I wouldn't say that is a major factor, that because people, financial literacy, people say because people are not financially literate, that's not really the issue. Because as I told you, if you take a census of those that are involved in this thing, okay, many of them have at least knowledge of, what they know, just as you said, they have this prior knowledge that there's something, fishy in that investment. But many of them will want to do it because the friend will say, I did it, I got this, let's do it now, so that we can pull out, early enough. So I won't be surprised to know that, there are a few of them that are still, mushrooming here and there. But this one, I'm sure, by the time what you're doing is also, very good, helping to educate Nigerians. By the time this one is over and the effort of the commission, I'm pretty sure that the incidents will go down.
All right, thank you, Prof. CBEX was flagged sometime, but we will come to that because SEC is one of the regulators. Is it, sir? Apex regulators, yes. So, yes, so we will come to that. But let's get to Lagos. And I'd like to know, Shuaibu, why is it that, people seem to trust these Ponzi investment schemes than our own legit financial, institutions?
Claire, I think Professor Uwaleke has tangentially touched on that subject matter, when he used the word greed. And I think in addition to greed is the desperation by Nigerians to get rich quickly and sooner. More often than not, what you come across is a situation where particularly the new generations, if you like the millennial generation, the Gen Zs, are too fast. They do not want to, for example, stay the number of years some of us have stayed to be laborers and earning salary over 30, 40 years. What they want is get rich quickly, and I want to drive a Benza or a BMW, just at the age of 25, at most 30. These are some of the things that push Nigerians into these, pyramid schemes or the so-called Ponzi scheme. As regards the earlier question, which technology didn't allow me to answer, I have not personally had an experience in terms of falling a victim of either a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme. But as recent as 2-3 weeks ago, I had cause to counsel the son of a friend of mine who was offered a job by a company in Port Harcourt, and to do documentation for employment, he was made to pay about 900,000 naira. I didn't know all this story until just about 2-3 weeks ago during the Eid al-Fitr celebrations when I went to Kaduna, and then the young man came to visit me. Oh, I'm just coming in from Port Harcourt, and this is the kind of job I got, but we are kept in a bit of a solitary confinement area and were not allowed to answer telephone, and a lot of things like was looking as a cult kind of, an association. Then by the time I interrogated the young man, he said to me they were asking me to bring in at least 5 to 10, new customers that will bring in money. I said, okay, what kind of business is the company doing? Oh, they are into oil and gas, as well as jewelries, wristwatches, ladies' necklaces, and what have you. And by the time I interrogated further, I said, do they have a shop? Where is their warehouse? Oh, they normally place order on receipt of money, they place order and then they buy. But then people who are investing money in it, they are assured of 100% returns within 30 days or at most 90 days. I said, well, young man, you fall into, you become a victim of circumstance and a victim of, a pyramid scheme, and this is fraud. This is clearly fraudulent. What is the name of the company? Oh, I'm under oath not to even state the name of the company until uncle you agree to do this. So we come across this every now and then. And believe me sincerely, apart from greed, the major issue is Nigerians are desperately looking forward to cut corners, particularly at this time of, high cost of living. You can imagine, more often than not, these Ponzi schemes usually crash almost on the eve of one festivity or another. We're just coming out of Eid al-Fitr celebration. Our Christian brothers are just, concluding Easter yesterday. So people were targeting to get some money for some of these festivities. Then, of course, the system will just collapse because there is a deluge of demand for to take out the money. One thing is certain, Dr. Agama, you guys are doing very well. You need to up the ante. You need to do a little more in terms of education. But our country, the system has not been generally fair to Nigerians. What do I mean? Like you rightly said, 1989, Omana, I was already an investment banker then. You were a student, but look at from that time till today, it is only a couple of months back that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the revised Investment and Securities Act. Should it take us this long, this time, to be able to revise our laws? Are we being fair? As recent as 2016, when the MMM, busted, why did it take us almost 15 years or 10 years to get these laws revised? Until this moment, the judiciary has not been cooperating with the security agencies and the regulators like yourself, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Insurance Commission, the Pension Commission. The judiciary hasn't been working in sync with you guys. If they were, why haven't we seen an evidence of 1, 2, 3, 5 people that have been jailed arising from duping Nigerians? I think we need to find a way to up the ante in terms of not just regulation, but also meting out punishment so that this punishment can serve as deterrent to those who might want to get involved in this malfeasance.
Thanks, Mr. Idris, for your, comments. But, when you likened, Ponzi schemes with the Gen Zs and the millennials, someone may want to disagree with you. Because listening to Dr. Agama, he talked about Ponzi schemes starting in 1920 with Charles Ponzi. And, of course, I remember as a child, my mom telling me about Planwell. I think that was also like a Ponzi scheme too. He talked about the one he talked about. As at that time, millennials were not around. I mean, they couldn't have made such decisions. So of course, the desire to be rich by humans, irrespective of age or or season, you know, it's just, I think it's just
And
inborn. And maybe that's why I want to get to Dr. Agama.
Sorry, Enyere, I think it even goes beyond greed or desire to get rich quick. Because he said something, you know, delays in our system. And that's why I asked, you know, why is it that Nigerians, you know, have more confidence in these Ponzi schemes investment than in our own financial institutions? You know, and he just, you know, talked about the delay, the slowness, and the ability that, you know, the fact that Nigerians find it difficult to even access, you know, their financial needs from these institutions. Please, yeah, I know you want to pray.
All right. I'm sure Dr. Gama will want to respond to that. But of course, you know, listening to Dr. Gama talk about what a Ponzi scheme is about, the fact that there's no structure, I mean, that should, you know, deter anyone from wanting to do, you know, something like that. Because, I mean, there are other businesses you can do that. You can double or triple your money. I mean, real estate is there and all of that, but I think you can educate us more on all of that. But speak to us about what the Security and Exchange Commission is doing, really. Because Dr. Idris just pointed to the fact that it looks like you're not doing enough.
Well, I guess that position is wrong. Not even guessing, it's totally wrong. The Securities and Exchange Commission, being the apex capital market regulator, has over time been making announcements, publishing circulars, newspaper, and of course using the electronic media. Besides that, we've done videos which are on our website cautioning people about Ponzi schemes and dubious investments. We have over time also gotten people behind bars. Recently we had the Isha, right, who that promised everything. In fact, they tried to register with the SEC, and we say we're not going to register them, you know, and we got them down and got them, you know, to be convicted in court. We also have had others, right? We have Thomas Kinsley, which we have convicted in court. We had, you know, MBA Forex itself, right? We refused to register them because we found out and we discovered that they didn't have what it takes to be so registered. Registration is a very critical, you know, process. In fact, registration is a hallmark of regulation. And so it is important that we do what we call the fit and proper persons test in the process of registering any investment company or instrument.
What happened in the case of CBEX? How did it escape your radar?
It is not that. So what happened with CBEX? It's like you just told us here now that you only knew about CBEX 2 days ago or a week ago.
No, but you are the apex regulator.
Excuse me, just wait, right? As the apex regulator, if a company does not come to register, I wouldn't know. If somebody has not come to report to me, I wouldn't know. As much as we can't be everywhere. So we, as much as possible, the ones we can, even very recently, just in Abuja, let me give you an example, a clear example. Provest. I'm sure you've seen some billboards all over Abuja with Provest. I brought them down. The SEC brought them down. So,
but billboards are still standing.
No. What they have done, and we're going after them, what they have done, after we said Provest is not a registered investment, they went back to change their billboards to hectare vests. Go and see. But we cannot do some of these things without going through the process, court process, and, you know,
whether hectare vest or Provest is the same picture that is on it.
So that's why we are going after them, and we have issued a disclaimer. So the point is, people are resilient. Speaking to what, you know, Mr. Shuaibu spoke about regarding the Investment and Securities Act, I mean, we should commend Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for signing into law the Investment and Securities Act 2025, because that has been in the process for the last 10 years. It has been in the process for the last 10 years. But it's only after our appointment that the current team of the SEC was able to push that law through the National Assembly and got the president to sign it in record time. That shows the commitment of the president. Because what it does is that it provides sanctions that had never been in existence for, you know, Ponzi scheme operators. 10 years imprisonment 20 years, a 20 million naira initial fund.
Please, DJ, speak further on your awareness and, you know, public sensitization, you know, about these Ponzi schemes. And you talk about all that you're doing being on your website and your platform. How many people can access your platform?
Everybody. Everybody. Platform.
And you
we
think,
have
and you,
telephone
and,
lines.
and you think that's the probably the platform, you know, that many, I'm sure most of my colleagues here don't even know your platform.
Because they don't want to check it. You see, the SEC
What I'm actually trying to drive is that you need to go outside, be outside your platform as well, your website. You need to also, you know, engage the public through town hall meetings, through the media, through other, you know, platforms other than your website.
Correct, and that has been done. That has been done. So we go out.
Are you on NTA?
What, NTA?
Yes. Do we have your?
Yeah? I'm here.
Yeah.
What is
your
this?
message?
I've been here before.
No, not you. Do we
no,
have your
the SEC has been, I have been here before to speak on the capital market, and I'm here today, and I'll always be here, and I've been to several NTA mediums to be able to speak. I've been on Arise, I've been on Channel, I've been everywhere I need to be to speak to Nigerians regarding this. Besides that, what else have we done? We've just set out a podcast at the SEC to reach to the millennials, to the people that will naturally want to listen to podcasts. We are moving into setting up a capital market radio in this year, 2025. Why do we want to do that? We want to reach every nook and cranny. As much as possible, you also understand that coming to NTA involves cost. How much do I really have to be able to run this? So clearly, if NTA will be magnanimous enough to provide us free airs, you know, airtime.
No. You need to. DG.
Wait now. Let me come. Why would I go there?
No.
It's going to be part of
that's
CSR.
That's a Ponzi scheme.
That can be
asking for free.
Magnanimity.
Is a Ponzi scheme.
Magnanimity to Nigerian citizens.
That can be discussed outside the program. But we just wanted, you know, to know, you know, how extensive you are, you know, making your awareness program.
Let me just make one point very clear, and that is very critical point. At the presentation of our budget this year, right, the National Assembly recommended to the federal government to grant us 10 billion naira for financial literacy. That is in process. That is, you know, for me, a major step. And the finance minister was, you know, very agreeable to such, you know, opportunity. And that will go a long way at helping us meet this requirement, this need to reach out to everybody. Because for us, it is so critical. Financial education is important, and we must find a way to reach out to everybody that we could reach
Many
out
thanks, Dr. Agama. I'd like to get to Professor Owaleke now. We're looking at, you know, reasons why people would, you know, engage in this in the first place. Well, SEC says they are doing the needful, but it looks like it's not enough. So the people just need to be aware somehow, just so that they do not fall prey. And I'm thinking, you already talked about greed. I'm thinking, how does social proof or peer pressure, you know, affect investment choices? Because if you, I mean, for the different schemes that have failed, I mean, there's just usually a certain group of people. Now, there are some schemes, you find maybe civil servants there. You know, there are some others you go, you find maybe artisans mostly and all of that. And then, you know, like Mr. Idris was trying to say, maybe the Gen Zs and the rest. How, you know, how do you drift away from such pressure, you know, and not fall prey to things like this?
Yeah, thank you. I think you're even answering the question, you know, partly. Is to become aware of the risks and rewards, you know, associated with any investment, particularly the risks. Okay. Now, a friend of yours comes to you to say, "Let's do this," and is only presenting the, if you like, the upside, the returns. So you're going to get this at the end of. It is for you to also ask, what about the risk? There is no investment that doesn't have risk. Theoretically, we say It's only investment in government securities that, that are risk-free. But if you look at it critically, there's nothing you are investing in that doesn't carry one risk or the other. And we often say that the higher the return you expect from any investment, the higher the risk. So when you understand that, then there are risks associated with every investment. So when your friend or your customer or whoever is coming to tell you, let's do this because of the so much return that we stand to get, okay? Because you're fully aware, you're now asking, please let us also look at the risk, okay? What are the risks? So if the risk is now presented, okay, and you now choose to do that, then that's your choice, okay? But it's important, as I said, for you to understand that investment has two sides. It's not just about return, but it's also about risk.
Yes.
Let me also say here that all these things we are saying is not just about the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's not just the job of the SEC alone to handle. And that's why, I am for an interagency, collaboration, not just the Securities and Exchange Commission, but also involving, say, the EFCC, for example.
CBN.
Of course, EFCC is even in a better position to unravel issues to do with, financial crimes. Okay, because that's part of financial crime. So EFCC, NCC too, the one in charge of the broadcast, because these things are advertised. By the time you take this kind of products, investment products that you know they are not licensed, okay, to the MBC, the media house should be asking, please, before we advertise this, are you registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission? If you ask that question, no matter how much they are offering you by way of adverts, if you ask that question, that are you registered? If the product is not registered, then you don't advertise it. So that's the job of the NCC. Then you also have of course, CBN should be one who should be there. Securities and Exchange Commission, of course, leading the whole team, because they are the apex regulator when it comes to investment. Then you have the Central Bank of Nigeria. Then you have the EFCC. Then you have the NCC. Then you have the NICDA, the National Information Technology, because they are in China, because most of these things are now technology enabled, crypto enabled. Okay, so when you have all of them on the table, like form of a task force, for example, that's when you can talk about effective surveillance. All right, it's not what the SEC alone can do. And you also mentioned part of why I said CBN should also be there. You mentioned something about distrust in our financial.
In fact, just hold on, Prof. We have some reactions, coming in, and this one said it's from Lagos. It's a very good question. We have more confidence in Ponzi schemes. Apart from the crashing aspect of it, it has helped a lot of people earn a living than the financial institutions. Government programs crash too. Then we have Usman. Then we have Usman Onwa from Zaria. The name of the Ponzi scheme is FF, with CAC and EFCC backup, and gives returns every day. Say, Claire, kindly confirm it for us to avoid disaster, which means that it is registered with CAC and have EFCC backup. And that's why I'm asking again, interagency collaboration. If it has EFCC's backup, how come SEC is not aware of it? Abodin Samod says, how is it that the Ponzi scheme operates for months without being detected by security agencies? Yusuf Abdul from Zaria, Ponzi scheme is a demonstration of how gullible and greedy we are in this country. And Comrade Okpaluwa Eleojo from Abuja, the major driving force of this is the strain attached to success and financial freedom. I know, you have some more.
Yes, I have some more messages. This one is from Yusuf Isa from Kuje. He says, I have made a personal decision not to do any Ponzi scheme. Yeah. Victims are affected due to ignorance. Yeah. This one says, can you please help me confirm if Project Diamond is a legit networking business? All right, I'm sure. I cannot confirm for you, but maybe SEC can help you do that. Samuel Orinya from Makodi says, I invested in a Ponzi scheme in the name of networking, and it was a bad one. Sorry about that. Mohammed Tassiu says Ponzi schemes are here to stay. People are looking for quick money, even if it means risking being scammed.
So
are we just talking?
Yes.
So the question is, are we just talking with this any kind of fruits?
Let's bring Shuaibu before we take a break. Shuaibu, please, can you respond? Because again, someone said, look, it is, we have more confidence in Ponzi schemes. Apart from the crashing aspect, it has helped a lot of people earn a living, and majority go into this Ponzi scheme because of poverty and lack of confidence or trust in the financial institutions. So can you help us make sense of all of these, comments and responses? Responses.
I want 2 minutes to clarify certain misconception. Number one, Dr. Agama, I think you guys have done very well. I wasn't saying that SEC isn't doing as much as it should. If any, what I was trying to allude to is, if we had MMM in 2016 and it took us this long to get to where we are, the previous government, of course not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he has not been in power since 2016, but within 18 months you guys are able to come up with the revised ISA, which captures even the issue of Ponzi scheme. I think this is a kudos to you guys. As regards, publicity, you guys again are doing fairly well, but I would like to latch again on Professor Waleke's view that there is need for interagency cooperation. Maybe it is high time that government should consider the DSS having a financial surveillance desk, or the Securities and Exchange Commission, just like the kind of tangential relationship the NFIU, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, has with the Central Bank and the EFCC, they should also cooperate with you and be doing some of the surveillance on your behalf, because you can't be everywhere and you can't do everything. As regards the Gen Z, if you observe, 1989 when we had the Omana, issue, fast forward 2016 when we had the MMM, and how many Ponzi schemes did we have from the MMM till now? It shows the level of prevalence, the level of greed, and the level of get rich quickly that a number of Nigerians are. I'm in no particular looking at zeroing it just to say Gen Z or the millennial. Even the 60-year-old, the 70-year-old can fall prey. But when we do statistics, you say area under the normal preponderance of the people who get their fingers burnt are this category of people. As regards what, one of the, comments that you have received, saying that they have more confidence in Ponzi schemes because, the normal conventional financial system isn't giving them financial freedom. I think, to say the least, is being most uncharitable. If the NTA, if the Director General, the whole Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission could spare his time at 7:30 a.m. in the morning to come in with a view to educating Nigerians, and someone thinks that Ponzi scheme are where to go, to say the least, is not fair and most uncharitable. Ponzi schemes are certainly fraudulent schemes. They are delusion. There is no investment. It's a criminal act, and it might be a little, I don't want to be too maybe punitive, but sometimes when people decide to even patronize and begin to network and bring other people to lose money, when you know that this is a crime, in itself, you are an accessory to the crime itself. Dr. Agama did allude to the fact that even the celebrities that are endorsing some of these schemes, the law will go after them. So it might be wise that even those who are marketing these schemes might need to, to be made to pay the price. We can't sit down and allow a few miscreants populate us with so much damage. Look at what has happened to the banking industry. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we had several banks that fell. That was what gave rise to the incorporation of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Scheme to insure depositors' fund. In the last 15, 20 years, how many banks have failed? Very few. So we've been able to sanitize that environment. So we will also, the government and indeed those of us who are practitioners, will continue to team up with the regulators, continue to team up with the security agencies to make sure that the environment is appropriately policed and sanitized.
But I'd like to ask, just before we go for break, I'd like to ask, what are the alternatives? I mean, the responses, have all shown that Nigerians, are willing to invest in platforms that, they can trust and, can at least make some, profit. And you discover that most financial institutions, by the time you make an investment, the charges, the withdrawals, the things, I mean, a lot of people are concerned about that. And it discourages a lot of the category of people, that patronize the Ponzi schemes from even investing their money. Take a civil servant, for instance, whose salary is how much, and he goes and invests in a microfinance or one of these banks. And before you know it, sundry charges. And, so I don't know. What are the alternatives for these Nigerians who, are looking for opportunity, at least to make some few money?
To even think about it, even the savings account in the past that usually gives you some kinds of dividends.
Leverage.
Nothing. In fact, your money reduces by the day.
Please, let's take a break if the director is ready for it. And when we come back, we'll try and see how we can answer that question. DG.
The Nigerian national flag represents our country's history, culture, and identity. It was designed in 1959. The colors are Emerald Green 2.0, which represents agriculture, and Immaculate White represents unity and peace. Know how to handle our flag. Illuminate the environment or don't fly the flag overnight. Do not fly a dirty or tattered flag. Take such flag to the nearest National Orientation Agency office for proper disposal and replacement. The national flag can only be flown at half-mast on the directive of the federal government. The national flag must be flown at the same or higher height when displayed alongside other flags. Don't burn or allow the national flag to fall on the ground. Do not print, decorate, modify, or insert the coat of arms on the flag. Our national heroes are not buried with the flag. They are honored by presenting it to their next of kin during interment. Respect our national flag. Be a real Nigerian.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
The business environment, to be honest with you, has been extremely hard on most Nigerian women's businesses, and of course harsh for a number of reasons. There is no way you would increase or move subsidy and increase the price of fuel that it doesn't have the counter effect. It has been very challenging for so many women. I know that a lot of them have cried in one way or the other to us to find ways of intervening. But that is not to say that it is all doom and gloom. We will still have a few percentage of women that are thriving in this economy, but we hope that we'll be able to get a larger percentage. One of the things I've seen with even our local purchases now is that people are buying more made in Nigerian options of food, of clothing, and so on and so forth than the imported. So that again is helping some of our industries thrive. Surprisingly, the telecommunications is still doing well, and the reason is very simple. A lot of people are going for online options of skills in terms of training, communications, even remote working. And so you will see that people that provide services around those areas also thrive. But I think at the end of the day, it's about partnerships, collaboration, and influencing power from especially the private sector and even the public sector. But we really need the public sector to drive a number of things, especially policies, because the public sector has the national spread above even whatever we can do in our own small way. What has happened over the years is that even the government, for example, is being pulled from different angles by all these stakeholders. We need to harness ourselves to have strategic focus areas, and we should all be moving in the same direction, not using a competitive approach, but a collaborative approach. Secondly, in collaboration, we need to move with large clusters of decision makers. Instead of, the process of reaching out to individuals is painstakingly long and it takes time. And so we need to engage these stakeholders on a larger platform. I think it's very important to identify where you can get help in your own little way. And one of the things I've realized is that when you operate in silo, it is difficult for you to lift yourself out of the situation. Identify ways you can do what you are doing in a simpler way. And if what you are doing is no more profitable, why not find out what can you do in the meantime that will help you? You need to think outside the box and then connect. What you can do is also identify people and become a cluster to provide a service that ordinarily you cannot do alone.
Tuesday night football. Valencia, Espanyol. Valencia versus Espanyol. Live on Sporty TV.
Brought to you by SportyBet. Play with champions.
All right, welcome back to the program. Again, before we bring in Shuaibu, let's quickly take, I think we have
some more messages.
Yes, some more messages. I have Tunde from Abuja, and this is SEC DG CEO. Please help Nigerians to list genuine investment who are registered with you. Please take that note, take that down. Sheon Ogumbi, NTA, can you help me confirm if an investment I registered with web site is registered with SEC? But Sheon, you didn't tell us the name of the investment, so we wouldn't know, what to ask the DG here. Please, if you can just send in the name of the investment again, we'll be glad to do that for you. Now, good morning, NTA. Your program is very good on the issue of Ponzi. 80% Nigerians want it easy, so blame both parties. I agree with you. I do agree with you. It's not just being greedy. The security agencies are also not on top of their games. If not, they have the responsibility of protecting Nigerians by nipping these dubious characters in the bud before they even, take advantage of the vulnerabilities of Nigerians and, land us all into trouble. And we also have our own part to play and as well. Jumei Dimbo, please, the people that said Ponzi schemes have come to stay, when they know it's a crime, should be investigated. No, they're not just saying, just to correct, they're not just saying Ponzi has come to stay. They're just saying, what is the alternative? What is the alternative? And DG said once we come back, DG will give us the alternatives, for those people.
All right, I have some more messages here. Musa from Abuja says, my question to the DG of SEC is, why is it that it is after the collapse of Ponzi schemes that SEC usually comes up with policies that comes up with policies? Don't they have a monitoring department? Emmanuel Bagudu from Jos says, I'm a victim of this Ponzi scheme. My brother introduced it to me. and I introduced it to my family and church members, we lost over 2.2 million naira. Very sad, very sad. Abdul from Abuja says, Ponzi scheme is not just MMM, CBEX. There are still a lot of Ponzi schemes going on at the moment. Abolarin Samod says, Nigerians will still fall for new Ponzi schemes that come their way due to get-rich-quick syndrome. And just in case you want to send in your comments, the number is 0816-968-8126. It is also displayed on the screen. So, of course, you can pick it up and send us your comments. But you see, as we talked about these Ponzi schemes and then the statement made that 80% of Nigerians want it easy, it just crossed my mind. Is it possible that politics is a Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because, you know, is there something that is pushing Nigerians to want to be rich quick?
You know, and just in line with this your question, somebody said, what about stocks that crash?
No, because you see, Nigerians would see that, oh, somebody gets into politics, becomes maybe a councillor or whatever, and overnight the person is a big boy or, you know, makes it big. Is that a push for other people to seek other ways? And then again, we know what happens when you venture into politics and you don't win election. You know, it's like a Ponzi scheme. So,
can you give us some of the alternatives?
Yes. So there are a lot of alternatives. You have bonds, which, you know, because investments actually are done as on the premise of your investment horizon. What is your investment horizon? Where are you in the scheme of things? What is comfortable for you? I mean, if you are old, it's advisable that you don't do equities, you do fixed income, you know, because fixed income, you are guaranteed of your principal and you are guaranteed of a return. That's one. Then you have equities. You can invest in the securities market by investing in shares of companies and, of course, corporate bonds. All of these are available on the floor of the exchange.
Do you know I invested in the shares,
yes,
some you know, years back, yes, in a particular oil company. I don't want to mention the name in Lagos. And it crashed. Yeah. And I didn't say anything, no message, no nothing.
So the point about investment is risk return, right? One of the major challenges of companies, why some companies fail the way they fail, is because those that have even invested in them do not participate in their governance. So if I ask you, that same company you're speaking about, did you ever attend their AGM?
Did they invite me?
Yes, they did.
Did they invite me?
Yes, they did.
No.
Go check.
No.
You'll find out there was an invitation. You saw it and you didn't even read it.
There's a media organization who also sold shares in a particular year.
Yes.
They never called for AGM. And it's
no.
the truth.
So if there's so if there's a company that has not called for AGM, right, statutorily, inform the SEC. We'll ask them questions why they haven't. We have a department called the Financial Standards and Corporate Governance Department that looks at the returns, right, and the activities of listed companies. So beyond these listed companies, you have one of the most veritable areas of investment is called mutual funds, collective investment schemes. That is one that allows you to measure your risk and to spread your risk. So we encourage people to do that because in that, you most often times will not fail.
What are you doing to simplify this process? See, another problem for Nigerians is they can't go through all this.
So what we are doing to simplify this process is that all of this investment can be done through an app on your phone. So the stockbroking firms all have apps where all you need to do is to just put your information and press the security you want to buy, and you can buy instantly.
Professor Waleke, you need to make this relatable for us, please. Yes.
The best bets, I usually advise, you don't try to do it on your own. You know, seek advice. Okay, if you want to do undertake any investment, meet a stockbroker. Okay, meet a licensed.
How do you get a verified license?
No.
I said you should make it relatable. He's even compounding by bringing.
No.
Go to our website.
You know, our perception about stockbrokers and all that is the same. Is also similar to what, you know, how we view insurance companies.
No.
You don't think so?
Okay,
you should just ask the question.
So just meet an investment, meet somebody that will advise you. Meet an investment advisor. Okay. Now regarding Ponzi schemes, I just have this advice for the public, for Nigerians. Okay, when you have an investment being presented to you, okay, you look out for the 3 R's. Okay, 3 R's. One is ask whether that investment is registered, whether that business is registered, whether the promoters, who are the promoters? Okay, are they licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission? That's first. Registration, that's the first R. Okay, then also try to find out whether any investment that relies on referrals, okay, is also something that should make you cautious. Referrals means go and bring, somebody. Okay, if they're asking you go and bring somebody, then put a question mark on that, that kind of investment. Okay, and there's also something we say with respect to Ponzi scheme, that when it comes to Ponzi scheme, there is always, bear in mind that there's always guaranteed loss. The first risk in Ponzi scheme is guaranteed loss. That you can stand to lose everything you have invested. Unlike somebody that has put money in the bank. If you put money in the bank and if something happens, the NDIC can at least come to give you something. If you put money in the capital market, in legitimate, instruments, okay, securities, if something happens now, Section 192 of the Investment and Securities Act, okay, I think 193 has now provided for an investor protection fund, which exchanges are meant to, establish. So if you put money in the capital market and something happens, okay, you also stand to get something. But when you put money in the Ponzi scheme, don't expect that you are going to recover any money. Like this one, that people are expecting they will recover. It is not it's not likely going to happen, because in the first instance, that business is not registered.
No,
so
but it has EFCC backing, and it has
registered with
SEC.
Registered with
yes, and it has
Commission.
And it is
doesn't have
with
EFCC backing.
Yeah, so it's fake.
Yeah, it doesn't have what EFCC is, and it's not even EFCC. It's SCOMO. SCOMO is a data, institution, as part of EFCC to collect data on transactions. So it is not EFCC registered. The registration of a company does not mean that that company is safe. It is only a statistical information as to who and who is part of that company as an investor. So for investment particularly, we must drum this to Nigerians. If any investment institution does not provide you with a SEC license, that institution is illegal. It is your responsibility as Nigerians to report to the SEC, and we will go after them.
Okay, please, just this question before we go to Lagos. Somebody just said, please, how much do we need to invest, and how long do you need to wait for ordinary Nigerians in these bonds? So please help me ask.
Yeah, so bonds are paid, some of them are paid twice in a year. That's the dividend, the interest on bonds. They are paid twice a year. In fact, the federal government recently issued a dollar-denominated bond issued in Nigeria, which means that you buy that security with dollars and you are going to earn dollar returns. That is fantastic. Besides other bonds that have been issued by the federal government. Then, of course, corporate.
Are these not elitists?
They're not.
No, okay, but there's also the savings. There's savings bond. Savings bond for 2 years.
For 2 years.
3 years.
3 years.
And government also pays twice a year.
So an artisan has 50,000 naira.
Yes.
5,000.
5,000
you can do the savings bond.
5,000 you can do the savings bond.
I'm getting to a point.
Yes.
An artisan needs to buy an extra equipment to do his job, and has 50,000, and the equipment costs 70,000. He's looking for where he will put that 50,000 today, so that in 3 months you get 70.
You will get 70%.
And do.
You are encouraging Ponzi.
I'm not.
You are encouraging Ponzi.
No, I'm not.
You are saying that you should collect
I'm not.
I'm
asking. What's the tenure of these kind of schemes that you're talking? The tenure usually it's annual.
Wait a minute.
So for somebody who is hungry, so you put all that you have. Are you supposed to wait for 12? Do we have investments that are credible, that are, you know, short term.
Just a minute.
So that 3 months, 6 months,
I talked about 3 hours. 3 hours to know Ponzi. I talked about registration, and I talked about referrals. They keep telling you to go and bring people. The third one is return. That's this one, return. So this kind of return you're talking about, you put 50,000, you know, you invest 50,000. The next month you want 70,000. That's a return that should also make you, suspicious. So
should I even ask Larry a question?
Yes.
Do you ever plant a seed and expect it to grow in 1 week and get fruits out of it?
No, it will not. Did you say? Don't misunderstand me.
The realities of now.
Another point would be that once you lock your money in all these investments you're talking about, you don't have access to it until the tenure elapses. So for someone, there could be an emergency. Do you understand? So that's another deterrent why a lot of people may not want to go into.
You can do mutual funds.
So
you can do
mutual funds. Why you talk about long term, 1 year, 3 years, and all that? Some people cannot wait for that long. Do you understand? They could have a sick mother eventually, so they want to get their money out, you know, as quick as possible. So are there other investment options that are short term?
You have money.
Do you understand? You could.
You said
yes. I'm saying that investments have, tenor. You have money markets. Investment, you have also capital markets. Capital market investments are meant to be medium to long term. So if you are looking for the short term ones, okay, as I said, the best bet for an average citizen is just to give your money, put your money with the professionals, the mutual funds, those that manage mutual funds. They will be in a position to know where to put your money. And if you say you want your money on a monthly, you want your returns on a monthly basis, that's also something that can be arranged with those mutual fund companies. Okay, and that when you do that, you can even go and sleep, because you know that somebody is managing your money.
Mutual trust companies. Can you
mutual
break
funds?
Mutual funds.
Yes.
Can you break
fund
it down?
managers.
Who are they?
Yes, they're also companies licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. And if you go to the SEC website, you also see their list. That's why
let's get to Lagos. Shaibu Idris, I'd like you to speak about. I think you should just give a general advice. We're running out of time, really. There's someone watching now who will likely become a victim of these Ponzi schemes tomorrow. Just speak, especially with the current economic realities. What would be your advice, to a Gen Z or a millennial, like you have highlighted, who is thinking of how to improve his or her livelihood? Who is thinking?
Before I go into the advice, let me give you a piece of information that I think my professional colleagues miss out. When you say that somebody buys into a bond for 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, and they may have an emergency or exigency to want money in 3 weeks' time or 1 month's time, bonds are generally tradable. They are traded. So the fact that I bought a bond for 10 years or 5 years, it doesn't mean I have to stay until the maturity of the bond. So I could go into the secondary market and sell that bond. If I invest my money in shares, I could buy shares today, and by next week, by 31st of April, today is 23rd of April, by 31st of April, 7 days from now, I can decide to sell the shares and exit. So Ponzi scheme are no alternative, not at all. Secondly, my advice to average Nigerian, those of us looking to earn a living through legitimate means of earning, is be careful, be careful. And the third word, careful. Tread on the path of caution. The fact that we get born, raised up, and we still die doesn't mean that the fact that human beings die, we should stop giving birth to children. The fact that cars have accident or aircraft have accident, it shouldn't mean we shouldn't join or get moving in cars or in aeroplanes. What do I mean? The fact that banks fail, the fact that somebody like Claire bought shares in a company, in an oil company, and the oil company collapsed, doesn't mean that we should stop buying shares. indeed there is risk and there are returns. So the risk and returns are usually correlated. Claire, maybe if you had availed yourself to an advice by a financial advisor, maybe you could have taken a precaution. Not worry about it. What Dr. Agama said, all companies that are quoted on the exchange are mandated by law. They must have an annual general meeting. They must render accounts, and they do this regularly. They will send text messages. They will publish on the pages of newspaper the dates of the annual general meetings. They will even send emails. This is what we normally do in quite a number of instances. Professor Walike did allude to the fact that there is an investor protection fund. I happen to be even on the board of trustees of the investor protection fund. I have been opportune to witness where some of the investment done through shares that were found to be fraudulent, the Investors Protection Fund did come to the aid of the investors, and we made restitution. Reasonable amount of monies were paid to the investors when we realized that either the stockbroker or the stockbroking firm were fraudulent in the process. So Ponzi scheme does not have that insurance. The pyramid scheme doesn't have any form of insurance, and whosoever decide to go into that, either in an aura of get rich quickly or greed or both, they have themselves to blame. The EFCC certification that we are looking at is no certification. What has been happening is these companies will go in and provide the EFCC with fake data, with different motives, so that they get that quote and unquote the certification of the SCUM. And it's not a certification. The entity that is supposed to certify those who are supposed to operate in the investors market is the Securities and Exchange Commission and not the EFCC. So anybody who is flaunting an EFCC paper to...
Thank you, Shuaibu. We are almost running out of time. Just a quick one, 60 seconds. I'm just wondering, is there a way in which tech companies can play a role in early detection and reporting? And DG, can NTA partner with you to start up a media Ponzi watch, segment?
Sure, very well. That's very much welcome. We are see, what has happened has taught us additional lessons, which we have taken on board. It would be wrong to say that we've not learned anything. No, we are going to be stronger, better, and protect Nigerians more. That's our responsibility, and we'll take it up. All
right. In terms of protecting Nigerians, Mr. Idris was talking about financial advisors. Do you access them for free?
Yes. So financial advisors, all you need to do is to go to our website. It's www.sec.gov.ng/CMOs. That is Capital Market Operators. Once you do that, you find all of the financial advisors registered by us, and you reach out to any one of them to be able to get advice.
I've been advice is anybody who wants to undertake an investment must or should approach a stockbroker.
All right.
For proper advice, yes.
All right. So much said already, about this. I think we're out of time, but I would like to just get 30 seconds. What will be your words to those who have lost money in one Ponzi scheme or the other?
Well, especially CBEX.
Well, for those that have lost money in one Ponzi scheme or the other, and especially now CBEX, is that we must be careful, for future instances, and as much as possible, as we investigate, whatever comes out of it, the public will know.
Is there a likelihood of getting the directors of this company, the latest, arrested?
Yes, there is. That is for us is a no-brainer. We are going after them wherever they are in this world, in cooperation and collaboration with other security agencies. We'll get them to.
All right, that's the performing DG of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yes, I think we need to give you an applause. and Trump, and all our guests, tribal as well.
Dr. Mama Timi Agama, Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, thank you so much. And of course, we want to keep having you, I mean, on GMN and of course on other programs, just so that people can be educated.
I like that you had to clarify that.
Thank you very much. Professor Uche Waleke, Professor of Capital Market, Director, Institute of Capital Market Studies, Nasarawa State University. Always a pleasure to have you. Thanks so much for your insights. And of course, Shaibu Idris, Managing Director and CEO of Timeline Consults Limited. Thank you so much. The millennials and the Gen Zs have heard you loud and clear. Thank you. So that's our package this morning. I'm Yen Ray John, never locked on the NTA.
And I'm Claire Adelabu Abdul Razak. I'll see you tomorrow.